Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Science Unplugged. We're here from the Alan Alda Center for Communicating Science at Stony Brook University. And so what we do is we kind of have a conversation with scientists.
Yes.
And we've talked about a lot of things. I wrote it down because it's so much. Medical marijuana research.
Yep.
We talked about space rocks with Steven.
Hydrogels.
My hydrogels, yeah. And what else? We talked about plastics.
A little cancer sprinkled in.
Yep. And so I didn't introduce myself yet, but my name is Wendy Hom, rhymes with Tom.
Greg Carbonetti. Nice to see everybody again.
And so today we have a guest. Do you want to introduce your guest? It's something very different.
I would love to introduce our guest. Today we have a Shruti Sharma. Shruti, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm doing pretty well. So, right out of the gate, I'm really interested because I have no clue whatsoever what it is you do. You got a big stack of papers in front of you that's kind of making me nervous. I don't know what's in it.
Magic.
I don't think it's origami, but that would have been my first guess. But Shruti, what is it that you do, and why is it an important thing for us to be worrying about or doing research for?
Okay, so I work with very small scale materials which are carbon based. So something that you find in your pencil.
Yes.
That is called graphite. So if this stack of paper is graphite, I make it very, very small. Like I take all this out, I break it down. And when I'm just remaining with one sheet of paper, that is called graphene oxide.
Graphene.
So
So I've
it's
heard
the
of this
thin
before.
sheet.
Yes, it's the single layer sheet of what makes up the pencil graphite.
Gotcha.
So
I gotta stop you. Really cool. I love the chemistry stuff. Why? Why do we want to take graphite and make it really, really thin?
you can use these as vehicles to carry medicines to cancer areas.
You said vectors?
Vehicles, like a car,
Okay.
like a
vehicle.
okay.
Yep.
like a delivery truck.
So not too dissimilar from the hydrogels that we talked
Yeah.
about in a different episode. So a drug delivery system. That's really so what kind of drugs or, how do you think that this could really benefit drug delivery?
So what I do is I make different shapes starting from the sheet.
Yep.
So you can have a plain sheet which is two-dimensional, or you can have them like a roll.
Origami.
Or see, there you go. I knew we were gonna get a little
Or
bit.
you can have it like a scroll, or you can just crumple it up.
Gotcha.
So when you have these different shapes, the way they travel inside the bloodstream is going to be different because they have.
I would imagine something that's really small could shoot through, but if something was really wide and bulky, it would be a little bit slower.
Yeah.
Something along those
something
lines.
like that. So if you imagine swimming, the swimmers wear sleek suits,
Yeah.
swimsuits to swim faster, or like when they are doing like figurative swimming
Yes,
sort
yes.
of a
Yeah.
thing, they based on their shapes, they can spin faster or spin slower.
Makes sense,
things
makes
like
sense.
that. So these shapes, when they go inside the bloodstream, they can do these kind of tricks. Why I want to make them small is because if you imagine the areas near cancer, they are different from the normal body areas,
Yes.
body cells. The vessels that are near, the blood vessels which carry blood and oxygen to the cancerous regions are not well developed. They are like leaky pipes.
Makes sense.
The leaks in the pipe are of nanometer scales.
So nanometers like
Oh yeah.
yeah, really. Well, let me see if I can get it because I butcher this all the time. So we go meter, centimeter, millimeter, micrometer, and then nanometer.
Yes.
So this is all a long way of saying that
I usually
incredibly
put 9, like
freaking
nano,
small.
Like 10 to the negative 9. So
Yes.
negative 9.
Jeez.
So if you want to put it in perspective, if the Earth, the size of the Earth is in the scale of 1 meter, the size of a paintball shot is 1 nanometer.
So basically, from planet Earth compared to the size of a paintball
Yeah.
would be a meter to a nanometer. That's incredibly small.
Yeah.
Very cool. So we've got these leaky pipes around these cancers. We have these, this graphene that we've made from the graphite. So this will be able to penetrate the cancer better through the drugs that you're delivering using this graphene would be able to
Yes.
get through a little bit better to treat the cancers.
Yeah, so the idea is that the pipes are leaky. The shapes that I'm making are of the size or smaller than the size of the leaky pores.
So there's holes in them?
Yeah, sort of. You can imagine like that. There are holes in them. They're not tightly packed with each other. So these shapes can go near these walls. They're small enough in size that they can penetrate, but they can go out. So they can go out of the flow of the blood depending on their shape. Because as you said earlier,
Gotcha.
if it is big and bulky, it might go out. If
Yep.
it is sleek and thin, it will continue to flow with the blood flow.
Oh, so you guys do have like a particular demographic of patient in mind and different kinds of drugs that you're working with here. You know, just to hear you explain it in terms of cancer, it does sound like you have a few actual, you know, clinical applications that you guys are really aiming for here.
So I am a material scientist.
Material. Okay. See, this is good though. This is good. It takes a village.
You're an engineer.
Yes. So I engineer these vehicles. I can engineer and do chemistry to attach the drugs to them.
Okay.
But I do not completely understand the biology part. So I
Which is
am,
fine.
Like collaboration comes
Yeah.
into play.
yes.
Which
So
is
I
actually
work
great
with
because we don't talk
doctors.
about that enough. Continue.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Trudy.
So I work with doctors who, so I have the basic understanding that this is the size range of the leaks that we have. So I want to make my particles of that size range, the nanometer scale range. But I don't do the cell testing and animal testing myself. I'm looking forward to working with some doctors on
Interesting.
that front.
Well, to make it about me for one moment, it's not too dissimilar. So, you know, I'm a molecular biologist, and we do a lot of things in terms of, you know, treatment of chronic pain. But, you know, we're testing out drugs, but we collaborate with the lab that actually makes the drugs. Because if
how
you
things
asked
get
me to
done.
actually do the chemistry, I'd get cross-eyed because I still
It's a
have
lot of
PTSD
information.
from organic chemistry. So
Let's not talk about that. It's a trigger.
So, really cool stuff, Trudy. So I got to ask you, what is it that you really love about what you do? Or what is it that really got you interested in doing this kind of work?
Making things, like it's so
Making things, there you
exciting
go,
that you
that's
can
great.
make something which nobody has made before, and you can change things. So I'm really fascinated with the idea of material science, that you can change the properties of how something behaves by changing their scales, or you can, like if you want to engineer you want a desirable property, you can go out and find out what influences and go out and make it. So that's interesting for me.
So another quick aside, and then we're going to hit her with the quiz
Yeah,
because
we're
my
gonna hit her with
favorite. This sounds pretty complicated. I mean, to watch you do it with a stack of papers, it seems pretty simple, but I'd imagine it's pretty complicated to get
How do you do
fat
it?
graphite
Yeah.
into thin graphene. Does it take a long time?
Yeah, so it's again, long time. It depends on your perspective. So
Makes
For
sense.
graduates, it's going to be a long time.
but to break down these sheets into smaller nanoscale sheets, it takes me about a day. But then you have to do like cleaning of the sheets that you make. and
Makes
then
sense.
You do another step to make this different kind of shapes that I make, like the spheres. So the initial experiment is like a day, and then
But then there's
And you'll have to be really clean quarters, right? It's like a
yes,
clean
so
room type of
I do have to wear like
spacesuit looking.
not the spacesuit looking thing, but I do have to wear like a lab coat, goggles, because some of the chemicals that I work with are not very friendly.
there you go.
Okay, got it.
Cool. All right, Wendy.
So we're going to hit you with the quiz. You probably are familiar with it. New set of questions, though. Just
Okay.
5 questions. And again, Greg, it's always open
I have
to you.
no idea. This is just to show. This is when we like to make idiots out of ourselves. So sit back
Don't
and
worry.
enjoy.
Usually you'll get it. So first question. The best-selling album worldwide in 2014 was a soundtrack to the Disney film Frozen. But in the U.S., the best-selling album was 1989. The first pop album from which young country star? I think Greg
It
knows
starts
it.
with a T. She's blonde.
She was the ambassador
Just a
for
bitch.
New York or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Some sort of. I think
Quite all right.
Greg's like.
I believe it's Tay-Tay, Taylor
yes,
Swift.
It is Taylor Swift.
Oh.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah,
I know.
was like,
Please
I was
don't
thinking
worry
about
about
her, but I couldn't remember the name.
it. Well,
okay.
I'll have you know that my fiance, I think, plays that on repeat every day. So
alright.
it's kind of
So
just it lives in my
ingrained in you.
brain.
You have no
and
choice.
Yeah, it just happened.
Now the next one. In what year was the first iPhone released?
It feels like forever ago.
Oh,
Take a guess.
2000 something?
2000 something. We've narrowed it down to the decade.
Give it a shot, Trudy. Not that.
2000. 2000.
2000.
Oh,
Okay,
actually, 2007.
2007?
Yeah. So it seems like it was so long ago, but it's actually kind of. Well, it's 10 years ago, but
I
for
know.
us, it's like.
I actually had one of those Nokia bricks when I was an undergrad,
Those are
and it
the
was
best,
around the
though.
time. I hear they might be making a comeback, actually. Because people like me need phones that you
don't
can't
want
destroy.
phones that bend.
Yes, very true. All right, so it's all
Alright,
right.
so
We're
next
doing
question.
okay. We're doing okay.
Hey, we're gonna go a little bit to like a little bit of science now. What kind of creature is a Portuguese man-o-war? Man-o with like an apostrophe.
I got this.
have no idea.
It's big. It floats.
Squiggly.
They like clear beaches out if these come around.
Is it an oyster?
No.
No.
That would be a scary oyster, though.
Yeah.
I'll give you that much. That
Yeah.
would be much. I believe it's a
It
jellyfish.
is exactly a
Yeah,
jellyfish.
they like really hurt. I've
Yeah.
seen one before,
They're
and that was
venom.
enough. They're like,
Yeah,
they almost
pretty
look
scary.
like plastic blue bags
Yeah.
floating, and you just get away from them.
All right, so this one, I think, I don't know if you guys know this one. What was the original flavor of the filling in Twinkies? Twinkies are like this.
Yeah,
I
know
love
what a
Twinkies.
Twinkie is.
Yeah. Like, what do you think the original filling was? The flavor?
Vanilla?
Vanilla? Is there any other?
Oh my god, chocolate.
So like it's like a hint would be like it looks similar to the what its color is now, like whitish color. So it's not vanilla,
Is
but
custard?
not custard.
Oh, fill us in. I'm done. I can't
It's
get
a
nothing.
banana cream.
Banana? That
that
actually
would've
sounds
been
like it would be
good, so-
awesome. I would eat that.
Yeah. All right, so last one. I think you guys might not know. I actually didn't know. I wanted to pull out something really hard.
Okay.
So what prank did Gordon Ramsay pull on his guest as a guest host of Britain's The Nightly Show?
What prank did so Gordon Ramsay is
Yeah.
the chef that just screams at everybody
Yes.
and just like flips things over. I got that
Seems really
much.
nice though.
He seems like
Same
somebody
here.
you'd have a beer with. What I'd imagine. I mean, you got anything, Trudy?
Think about what might scare people in a kitchen type of setting.
If
Live something? Like live food?
It is live.
live
Something more frightening that's on live TV.
something, I'm just seeing like he pretended to cut a finger off or
Yes.
something.
So
Really?
actually, he had a blender accident.
A blender
God,
accident.
Blender, he stuck his hand in and freaked his.
Oh
his,
jeez.
someone else.
I've never got into that whole
No.
like cooking thing. I do like Chopped. Chopped's my jam.
Oh, I don't
It's a
watch
good
any
show.
of that. I like to.
Trudy,
Yeah.
I'm coming to bat for you. That was tough.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's okay.
That was
It's
mean.
okay.
That was
It's
mean
all
of me.
right.
I'm sorry.
No, it's quite all right.
Yeah.
You know what? We could all do with coming down a peg every once in a while.
But I imagine engineering is a lot harder, so this is something different to throw at you.
Very cool. Very cool.
Very
All right. Well, I think we
Yeah.
got one
Our
question
last
left.
question.
Yeah, you want to hit her with it, Wendy?
So our last one is so you're really passionate about the science and you're doing something really great. Now, what is it that brings you on this show? How is science communication important to you, and what do you want to say about that?
So one of the reasons I started doing these things was when I was in my undergrad, I really enjoyed like learning about these new things. And when I was talking to other people about it, they seemed more excited sometimes about it than I was. That sort of thing like made me think about that if other people know, or if kids, especially kids, like I like doing outreach activities with kids a lot. So if they know, then they may come up with the next big idea. I might not be able to do all the science by myself, but I can inspire somebody else or like ignite an idea in somebody else. And
That sounds like a fantastic
Yeah,
reason to
that's
me.
really good.
Absolutely. Well, Shruti, we got to thank you for joining us today. I think
you.
you're
Thank you
officially
so
off the
much.
hot seat. She's good to go?
Yeah, she's great.
All right. Well, thank you. You can take your papers with you, too.
Yep.
It looks like they're still very usable, except the one
Yeah.
you crinkled up. But I guess I'll take us home then, Wendy. Thank you so much for joining us today, everybody. Once again, we are Science Unplugged from the Alan Alda Center for Communicating Science at Stony Brook University. And we had a lot of fun today. We talked about graphene, graphite, man wars. There was some Taylor Swift thrown in there a little bit.
Cancer?
Cancer. That was kind of morbid.
Sorry.
But we got all this kind of stuff, and we're learning about it, and it's fun. So please join us. We'll be doing a lot of these, and we'll see everybody soon. Take care.